How's it going, everybody, and welcome back for another adventure. This one is pretty amazing. I hope you enjoy it. If you're new here, I do appreciate you clicking the video. I do some spearfishing, and we have great conditions diving in kelp. We get some black rockfish. Brett there shot 2 in 1 and stoned a both. That was epic. We do some freediving as well, exploring the amazing structure and terrain, some cool swim throughs, and I see a rock greenling, a very elusive fish. I do some night dives from there. I was looking around for the elusive dogfish, the mud shark. If you enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not trying to spearfish for compliments, but it does help my channel grow. Much appreciated. Peace and love, everyone. We're at a spot. We just hiked for 40 minutes or so after a 2+ hour drive. What a beautiful morning. We were up at 5:30, super early, but we get out here early as well, and then we get into the water and get exploring. The viz looking questionable, pretty murky, but we're also right in a bay and it's low tide, and the swell is coming in, which disturbs the water on the bottom, the sand on the bottom, I should say, and obviously affects what we can see. Hopefully the conditions are good when we're out there, which I suspect they'll be decent, and if they're not, cruise around in a kelp bed. I'm here with Joseph and Brett, finally scratching that one off the list, diving with Brett Bickerton. As you all know, he's my sponsor, and he makes handcrafted spear guns out of Nanaimo, British Columbia. That's where I live, that's my hometown, so nice to support local whenever possible, whenever I can. And also shout out to Diving Sports, who sells equipment in Vancouver, another one of my sponsors. If you are looking for equipment, check out Brett Bickerton's gun. Can't beat locally handcrafted spear guns. Check out Diving Sports, they have a lot of amazing equipment. Also shout out to Fred of East to West Freediving and Lori in Victoria. That's another good spot to go. Look at that. What is that over there? Almost looks like a Puget Sound king crab carcass. Hard to tell. But our goal today is to go spearfishing. I'm gonna try to grab my 3 rockfish. If I see a keeper, I'll shoot a lingcod as well. I'm just really excited to be here, and I'll film around as well, explore the intertidal and some of the depths. Time to roll, time to roll, time to get geared up. Look at this coastline though. Look how phenomenal this is. I use that word a lot, but this one really is phenomenal. Is that a new wetsuit?
Yes.
Looking sick, man. I like the Canada at least.
That's good.
Yeah. You ready to roll, man?
I am, man.
How you feeling? You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm good.
We got this right, limits.
I think so long as the visibility is good out there, we'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the big what if. As I'm sure you can appreciate, getting out to these dive spots is quite the commitment financially, but it also takes a lot of time. So when we get out to the coastline and we look in the ocean and we see flat calm conditions and relatively good visibility, our heart is pumping out of our throat with excitement. I've been filming with the action camera mount, but I also mount my camera onto the Bickerton spear gun that I have right there. I do like having the action camera mount because I can get these sort of perspectives as well. I feel like my videos are going to be a bit more versatile, going back and forth between the 2 angles. Let me know which one you prefer though. I am curious, and let me know if it's too much or if you like having both angles when I'm in the water and on shore. I'm finding I'm capturing a lot of footage that I otherwise would not have. Just little candid moments when I'm in the ocean talking to friends before I turn my camera off. Here's Brett though, jumping in the water right behind me, looking at the green viz.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Not too bad, not too bad.
You're doing it.
Yeah, buddy.
Gladly.
Yeah. Yeah. The standard doesn't have to be very high in the PNW for good visibility. If I can see the end of my fins and the end of my spear, I'm usually pretty happy. Thankfully, the visibility did get much better than what you were just saying though, but I was still happy with that. You can see all these urchin burrowing in the rock. Pretty crazy. They can live for over 100 years. That way? Okay. Oh, that looks a little better. The kelp was pretty thick. No complaints from me, but it does make it difficult to reach our dive spot. If you watch my videos or even watch the news, you'll probably know about the starfish waste syndrome killing all the sun stars that graze on the urchin, and humans killed all the sea otters. So kelp beds are disappearing all over the place. So when we see all this kelp prospering, it makes us really excited because it's key habitat for lingcod, rockfish, salmon, virtually every single species of fish in the Pacific Northwest. This was deeper than I thought. You'll see in a second. So deep kelp. Yeah, like really deep. Well, I gotta say really deep, like probably 15, 17 meters. Probably about that, yeah. Put to the bottom, yeah. Like I was kicking and kicking and kicking. I'm like, okay. I don't have a computer, I'm guessing, but probably right to the bottom, yeah. Usually kelp is like 10 meters or so. That drop might not have been as deep as I thought it was. I think it is closer to 14 to 15 meters, still deeper than I was expecting. You can see Joseph perched up on a ledge here. He's over there hunting some rockfish. Give him a wave. I look down and I see a vermilion. I rarely see vermilion, so that was cool. I can feel the current here.
Yeah.
It's moving the right direction.
Do you want to go that way?
I can do a couple drops, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Take one here, maybe one down a bit further. The current, like the kelp blocks it, thankfully. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, you got nice. Joseph, he's become a really good friend of mine. We dove for 4 or 5 days straight, give or take, over the course of a week. That was a really good time hanging out with him. I hadn't seen him for a while. He was going to school to become a deckhand or bridge watch, something along those lines. But he donated this footage, so this is him hunting. For me, it's really cool to see other people's perspectives and how they react in the water to their surroundings. He doesn't look around on camera as much as I do. I'm more like a squirrel, you know, looking left, right, and center, trying to see what's around me, but he's very, very focused on what's in front of him, so that's neat. Here's me spearfishing around with the action camera mount. I know a new perspective on my channel, newer perspective, but I'm looking in the bottom of the kelp, looking for lingcod up on the rocks and not seeing much of anything. But I did see a fat black rockfish in the corner of my eyes, so I lined up and pulled the trigger. And here's the same shot from a different angle on the action camera mount. I have the Ace Pro 1, this is the Ace Pro 2. I like the colorations of both, but I do find the Ace Pro 1 a bit cleaner, to be honest with you. I find the colors to be a bit more accurate on the Ace Pro 2. Both look awesome, no complaints. But I got this guy, he was pretty fat as well, so no complaints for me. I had some awesome tacos that evening. These fish make amazing fish tacos. The flopper I have on my shaft, it's beveled, so when I spear a fish, it makes it hard sometimes to take the shaft out of the fish. So I often just take the shooting line off, pull it through, and then secure my fish onto my carabiner. This is a bit of a different system than some people use. I don't like securing fish to my body. I don't like it entangling on stuff when I'm on the bottom, but this works great for me. As I swam to the next spot, I saw Brett with 2 fishes. I was a bit confused there. Dude, that's like, hey, there you go. You got that on camera? Oh, you did? Damn. I guess the legend precedes himself. He shot 2 black rockfish, the biggest ones in the school, and he stoned them both. That was amazing, man. Good work. That got everybody excited. He said there was a nice school at our second spot. I dove down and looked around at the bottom. I was just blown away by all the kelp and all the color. You know, I dive in Bermuda, and honestly, I think I officially prefer the Pacific Northwest when the conditions line up. It's so hard to beat. All the color and the fish, the schools, all the above, just absolutely gorgeous. I had a really good time on this dive, as you can probably tell by my enthusiasm. That was angle A, here's angle B, me shooting another black rockfish. Again, this one came home with me. It's in the freezer right now, and I'll eat it throughout the winter. I'm finally getting my fish supply up. Here's a shot of me that Brett took. It's really cool having all these different angles, some versatility on my channel. I'm enjoying the process of editing it. I hope my viewers are enjoying the process of watching it. Let me know again. Don't forget to throw the video a like. And if you don't like it, that's fine with me. Just go ahead and explain yourself. Let me know what I can work on. When people smash that dislike button with 0 context, I take it as the jealous hater button, so smash that if you will. Now, I love kelp, and don't take this the wrong way, but when the bottom is full of kelp, it does make it a bit more challenging to find fish. Not a big deal at all, because there wouldn't be fish without kelp, so double-edged sword, I suppose. But I went down to the bottom, we found another school at our third spot. This was pretty fun. We just let the current take us along the shoreline. We'd shoot a fish and then move to the next spot, so we're not applying too much pressure onto one spot. But I found a nice black rockfish, and that concludes spearing from me. I got some more clips donated by Joseph though, but I shot my 3 black rockfish. I was content with that. This was a good size one. All 3 that I shot were in the upper mediums to large, maybe 1 large. But again, brain your fish, put them out of their misery, and make sure that you're not stressing them out, because the adrenaline puts hormones into their blood and to their flesh, and apparently that deteriorates the quality of meat. So you get the best fish possible while spearfishing, because we kill them nice and quickly, or at least that's the goal. This is Joseph again, though. Thanks again, Joseph. If you guys aren't following Sharing the Wild, make sure you do. He did take that hiatus from making videos, but he has loads of content that he does plan on editing, and I'm excited to watch. But here he is in another school doing some grouper calls, looking for the biggest fish in the lot. This is I forget if they're deacon or dusky rockfish. They look like black rockfish. Pretty sure it was a deacon. They get confused with black rockfish quite often. They look virtually the same, but we do have multiple species of rockfish in British Columbia, inshore and offshore. I think we have like 50 or some odd species. Don't quote me on that. They're all beautiful though. They're all amazing. Here you can see some kelp greenling in the corner there, some yellow tail rockfish, and he shoots a black this time. And I think that concludes his spearfishing as well. Thanks, Joseph, for the footage.
How's he doing? Is it good? You got 3 or what do you got? I shot my 3. I'm done for black rockfish.
I don't like swimming around with a loaded gun, so if we're going from point A to point B, I'll often just unload it. I don't rely on safeties with any gun that I have. I don't trust them. I know 0 people have been speared with a unloaded spear gun, so let's just eliminate the hazard. If you're swimming up to a bunch of people, I would recommend unloading your gun as well. I never want to get shot, but I definitely don't want to pull the trigger on somebody accidentally. We saw a cave from the shoreline, and we decided to go check it out, and I'm happy we did because it was really cool. And that's what I love about freediving and spearfishing. We were in the water on this day to shoot some fish, but we see a cave and we're like, hey, let's go explore it. And there's no one telling us we can't, because we're on this remote stretch of coastline and the world is really our own. I love freediving. It brings out the child in me.
Holy, it's pretty cool too, eh? Crazy. What did I surge?
I took the opportunity to scale and gut my fish. I often cook my rockfish whole so I'm not wasting any meat. But I like gutting my fish in the water. That way I'm putting the protein back into the ocean. I'm taking the majority out, but at least I can leave some for the little fishies and crabbies that are in the intertidal.
No, I'll get another one. Oh, okay. You're okay? Yeah.
Thankfully, I was okay. I grew up skateboarding and boxing. You have to have a high pain threshold for both. While skateboarding, my nickname was Slamson, my last name being Samson. So again, I got good at falling. I was okay. This cave was really neat though. We went right to the back of it, went in much further than I was expecting, and we found some carvings at the back there, some dating back to 1988. I'd imagine other Spearos or kayakers made their way in here and put their tag on the wall. Pretty cool.
Day's been good so far. Got 3 black rockfish. I think everybody, minus Joseph, but he'll get us 1 more. Got the limit. Our goal now is to look for a lingcod and maybe a greenling. There's some good sized greenling. We got a lot of kelp that we have to try to swim through, so we explored a cave and now we're gonna hike a little bit to our next locale that we have pinned and marked, which has a swim through, which I don't think we're actually gonna do today. Current's a bit strong and visibility isn't crystal clear, so not worth the risk.
We went back to shore just to ditch our fish, and I'm happy we did because I caught this clip. Look at the light glistening in through the trees and the fog. It was kind of eerie, but also very beautiful. Probably my favorite clip of the video for that matter. And that's the thing, you really never know what you're gonna see while diving, not just underwater, but above water too. It's non-stop sensory overload when you're diving in these areas. The kelp also fires me up. I love spearfishing. It's rewarding, bringing home food for my family, all the above. But at the end of the day, my favorite thing to do is hang out in the shallows and watch the kelp swing back and forth. Seeing all those urchin burrowed into the rock was pretty cool too. I did some spearfishing, or I guess attempted to do some spearfishing. I was looking for a cabezon, but my main target was a lingcod. I didn't give it too much effort though. I looked around for maybe 20 minutes at most before I gave up. I saw this black rockfish. I think he knew I reached my limit. He was off limits and he was rubbing it in. I'm just playing. It was a cool interaction. They're pretty cute. I love rockfish. They're tasty. That's their pitfall. That's their fault. But at the same time, I love all the creatures that I lay my eyes on and bring home for dinner. I have mad respect for every single one of those aquatic mammals and animals. The school of black rockfish was really amazing though. I dove down with my camera. I finally unloaded the gun and started looking around for creatures that would catch my attention, and this school of black rockfish did the job. Believe it or not, black rockfish were prevalent around British Columbia as well, all up through the Howe Sound, but through commercial fishing, they have completely disappeared. I know there is some conservation groups doing transplants. They're bringing some from the west coast of Vancouver Island into the Howe Sound, trying to reintroduce them, and they've had some minor success with it. But that would be cool to see big schools of rockfish hanging out at, say, Whitecliff Park. Maybe one day, probably not in my lifetime, but maybe one day. I just settle for some kelp growing back there and the urchin barrens disappearing. This one through Joseph had hit this up 2 years prior. He told me about it. He had never actually swam through it. I kind of screwed up a bit. I should have done the lower end of it, not the upper end. But doing the upper end did land me this small juvenile Puget Sound king crab. And you can see me here filming with my spear gun, going back between selfie mode and video mode. But this Puget Sound king crab, I wish he was 50 times bigger and I could have brought it home for dinner, but they're like the cutest crab, let's be real. I'm happy with that shot, and I don't always need to bring stuff home with me. I just like enjoying the environment and the sights that I get to witness that nobody else does. Woo! Little juvenile Puget Sound king crab. My one regret on this dive was not doing this swim through twice. This is the same swim through just captured from my action camera mount. You can see my other camera right in front of me. I'm really enjoying the versatility of having both angles. Also makes my videos a bit longer. The one trade-off though is my external hard drives are going to be filling up a lot faster and costing me more money. So if you enjoy it, let me know. I'll continue. If you don't enjoy it, if it's a bit too redundant, then I'll stop and save myself some coin. You can see here though how I just go back and forth between the two cameras, or I should say camera angles when it's mounted on my spear gun. Very, very versatile. I told Brett and Joseph about the Puget Sound king crab. They were curious, so I swam them down and I attempted to show them. I showed Brett. You can see it here perched on the ledge, pointing it out. He gave it a little pet. I gave it a little point. And here in a couple seconds, you can see it kind of move. I didn't realize that, and I went to swim down and show Joseph, and he caught it on the prow, but it wasn't where I originally saw it, so I didn't see it again. I found a nice big school of herring, and here's the deal. When I'm editing, I never look back and think, man, I should have looked around for a lingcod a little bit longer. But I do look back and say, man, I wish I filmed the intertidal zone a little bit longer. I'm always bummed out when I see so much kelp and I don't film it. So I spent the remaining portion of my dive while the other guys were looking for a lingcod in the shallows, looking around at all the kelp and just having my mind absolutely blown and warped. I also know this is rock greenling habitat, the psychedelic punk rock greenling, and I ended up finding one. This is the only stretch of coast I have ever seen one before, and I found one, so I was really proud of myself. It was being pretty skittish, and I don't blame it, because it most likely thought I was a predator trying to consume it. I've never speared one, and I likely never will, but I ended up getting a shot, and some kelp, got right in the way. Damn kelp. I'm just playing. It was a cool experience nonetheless. That was a really fun time on the water. Totally worth the wait. Joseph, Sharing the Wild, has been trying to get me out here for over 2 years, and the day finally came, and we couldn't have picked a better day. The visibility was amazing, and got 3 rockfish. Didn't shoot a lingcod, but no big deal with me. I saw a rock greenling. I hope I got good footage of it. I'm not too sure. It wouldn't swim broadside. At this point in my video, you would have seen what I captured, so I'm gonna head back to the vehicle. We got our fish. We got a lot of work to do still. We'll probably have some rockfish tacos tonight. Woo! Let's see that. Is that your PB today?
I don't know.
Nice.
It's the last one though.
You got some seasoning there?
Yeah.
Just gonna eat it right now?
Tobacco.
Oh, nice, nice.
I'm just gonna leave some here for an offer. That was
awesome. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's epic, man.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Dude, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, what a great day.
Yeah, we got fish, good visibility, and could have been much worse than this, that's for sure. Look how calm it is.
It's beautiful down here in the state of Washington, hey?
Yeah, dude. Washington is gorgeous. And that concluded day number 1. Our freezer is now a bit fuller, and so were our hearts. This is really food for the soul. Thanks, Brett, for getting in the water with us last minute. I only reached out to him the night prior, and he made himself available. This was a really awesome day, but believe it or not, I top it in a few dives from now. Stay tuned for that on my next video. What do you think, man? Are you happy I dragged you out here? Night dive, first night dive, right?
Yeah.
Woo! Here at my favorite spot in Nanoose Bay. Gonna be looking for some octopus to hand harvest tonight, and we got our spear gun, doing some night spear fishing. I'm just joking, I'm kidding. I don't know if scuba divers watch my channel or not, but it's one of those spots that you don't want to harvest from. I'm doing a night dive though with my homie Joseph. We dove yesterday. I said my goodbyes this morning, and I convinced him to come back out here with me. I never do night dives, well, rarely do night dives. I've been wanting to for a while, and I procrastinate / can't find people to go in the water with me. I was gonna do one with Clayton a month ago, but he couldn't equalize after a long day dive, so we never did the night dive. But the conditions looked awesome earlier. I was snorkeling with the kids. I can see the bottom out there. It's looking clear. I know it's never sold until you're in the water, but I'm thinking it's gonna be awesome. You can find octo. There's a nice rocky drop off. It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be awesome. As long as they don't fall. That'd be a bad start to the day. One last fizz check, making sure it's not in vain. Ooh, no, that's looking good. That's looking good. Here's my arsenal for the evening. I got the Ace Pro 2. Over here is the Leaton Power Shark CX 8000 lumen dive torch, and over here I got my secondary. This is the Workos VL08. This one's cool because it has a UV light. The UV light, which I'm going to try out, see if it lights anything up in our green waters versus the Caribbean. The red light, the video light, and a spotlight, primarily why I brought a secondary, in case we need to cut through some of the bad visibility. Even though it looks good, you never know until you're in there. A sunset is a terrible thing to waste. I feel like that would be a song title by Leonard Cohen or someone along those lines, but it's a phrase that stuck with me, and it truly is. When I first moved to Nanaimo, I would make an effort almost every single night to watch a sunset. Since I moved here, I've been a bit complacent, and I usually just go home for the evening and hang out and relax. I really need to get my butt off the couch and start watching the sun go down. I missed a lot of amazing sunsets, I'm sure, and every single one is unique, kind of like the dive spots that I visit, so I got to get back on that. But night dives are pretty cool. They are also very interesting, makes relatively boring stuff during a day dive exciting on a night. I found I think it was a spring salmon carcass. I was a little bit thrown off, wondering what would have happened to it, but I also found some fishing gear on the bottom, so I suspect somebody didn't properly handle their fish and it died, or maybe they stressed it out and it died, or they had a barbed hook and it died. Not too sure. This spot here, I was seeing a lot of abalone. Some people get all aggravated when divers show footage of abalone because there is a lot of poachers out there looking for them, but they don't need to watch a random video on YouTube to find abalone. Just like me, they can jump in the water, look around, and most likely find one or two on the spots they visit. I know poaching is horrible. The northern abalone have been off limits since the 90s, and their populations are still considered endangered. So if you see anybody poaching them, I think raising the awareness is important. If you see anybody taking an abalone, report them, because they need to pay the consequences of their poor actions. If you don't like worms or insects, maybe doing a night dive is not for you. I'm not too sure what these little small ones were. The larger ones, polychaetes, I believe is their name. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know what these little small guys are, let me know. They're pretty eerie, to be honest with you. I'm totally cool with spiders, bugs, and every little sort of insect, but they were coming into our snorkel and stuff like that, which was a bit eerie. The squid, that was a highlight for me. I've never seen squid diving in British Columbia, Canada, so I was super pumped. Joseph was laughing at me. He didn't show the same enthusiasm I did, but squid are awesome. I wish I had a good squid spot in Nanaimo where I could angle them from shore, because they're very tasty and also sustainable too. The colors were just popping on this night dive though. Seeing the scallops and sea stars, lingcod right there. It was the only lingcod that I saw throughout the dive. It was undersized. Joseph, he's gonna eventually post a video from this dive. He saw an octopus. He got some footage of it too, which was cool. He pointed these out to me. He suspects they were little lingcod. I think he was right too. We were seeing them everywhere, little small juvenile ling. If you know what they are, confirm with me that they are lingcod, but we suspect they were. Some more squids were in the shallows. We were eventually packing it in for the night, and I saw a sailfin sculpin. These, I would not call them rare. Every single night dive I've been on, I've seen one. I think they're nocturnal, so they come out in the evening. They're really cool fish. You gotta wonder why Mother Nature evolved them in the way they did. This fish here was a little shiner perch. It seemed pretty curious of me. I even got my hand out and gave it a little pat. Actually, I got it maybe a millimeter away and eventually it swam off. I was playing around with my Leton Power Light. It has a caught mode, so I was arresting some fishies too. That night dive yesterday with Joseph was lit, pun intended, yes. Lit with our dive torches. That was an awesome time. I saw opalescent squid. I think that was the species, I could be wrong. But I saw squid. That was amazing. Check that off the list. I've seen them in Bermuda abroad. I've seen them out in Euclid from a dock. I've never seen them while diving in the water. We descend down and they just like ink all over the place. It was really cool. Overall, really fun time out there. I was inspired to do another night dive. I'm back here at Rocky Point in Nanaimo, BC. I've done a bunch of day dives here. Never done a night dive. I looked down and there's like, I don't know, 20 fishermen on the shore. So I'm gonna wait till it clears off a little bit. I got some fish scraps I'm gonna throw into the ocean. I try to throw everything back into its natural environment versus throw it in the green bin and have its way go to the landfill where it becomes fertilizer, but still better to go back into the ocean. And my goal is to chum some dogfish into the water. Yesterday checked off squid, but today I want to check off mud shark, dogfish. I've never seen one while diving. I used to catch them all the time while hook and line fishing, but never seen one while diving, which is craziness. Hopefully tonight's the night. This spot is a bit sketchy though, with all the fishermen and fishing lures and fishing line, and I'm going out solo, which is probably a dumb idea, but wish me luck. It's pretty comical. I was throwing those fish scraps into the ocean and some fisherman was all mad at me for it, saying that the fish scraps are going to bring in the seals. I don't think seals need fish scraps on the ocean's bottom that are half frozen to bring them in, to be honest with you. But even at that, he was calling me ignorant. What's ignorant is all the triple barbed prong hooks I see out there. That's what's ignorant. People not knowing the regulations and the rules. So if he knew what I found out there, he'd be on my side. I wasn't gonna sit there and argue with him, but he's telling me not to throw him in. I just hucked him in. I don't care. I have plans. I want to see some dogfish. No offense to Buddy, but yeah, don't give me a hard time. I'm doing what I'm allowed to. Throwing fish back into the ocean, that's where they belong. So yeah, he can get lost. And for the record, I don't let people faze me. I don't at all. I do my thing and I try to respect other people. And he approached me very not so nicely. If it was a little bit less hostile, I would have been more inclined to wait until everybody cleared out. But yeah, he can get lost. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I want to get along. That's why I always say peace and love. Right now it's 7:30. The sun sets right now in Nanaimo at 8:05. So I'm gonna get in the water here pretty soon and make my way over to that spot where I dropped those lingcod carcasses. I'd imagine most people would have cleared out at that point, but yeah, it's time for me to get in there. Water's looking really clear, much better than it looked last night, and last night was pretty decent. If I didn't make it clear, my plan was to jump into the water for 8:05 and swim over to the drop-off at Rocky Point for 9:05. That way the sun would be down, it would be complete darkness, and also nobody on the shoreline fishing that I would end up disturbing. So that was my plan, and I executed it flawlessly. I know I should drop it, but I was thinking about the interaction I had with that fisherman, and I wonder how many people he's intervened on when they flick cigarette butts into the ocean, or they're fishing with triple prong hooks, or when people aren't handling fish effectively. Probably not many. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's funny when people pick and choose their battles. I was trying my Workos UV torch. It does have a UV setting. I didn't check it out on the previous night dive. It was neat to see the anemones actually letting up. This is more for the tropics where you have all the corals, but you can use it locally too, which I just discovered. I'm going to probably invest in a higher powered UV torch, but still need to have that setting available. The sun went down, so eventually I made my way over to the drop-off. That's my favorite spot to dive here. And I found a lingcod carcass. This one was not mine. I know that for a fact because the cheeks are still on there. I always cut the cheeks out. But I did secure the head onto my selfie stick, and I was thinking maybe that would further lure dogfish in my direction. I didn't want this to turn into a lure dive, especially being out here at nighttime by myself, but I did find some fishing lures. I hucked them on shore. Check that one out. It has a triple prong barbed. Good job, guys. Yeah, really showing your fish respect. I was looking for dogfish just by going to the bottom, shining my light into the abyss, and it got really boring fast, so I gave up on that and turned my light around and looked at the wall. Found this red Irish lord. I've seen these maybe 5 or 6 times in the past, never on a night dive. They're beautiful, a flamboyant fish. I was excited to see that one. And the anemones. This is what the last spot did not have, a bunch of anemones. They're really cool to look at daytime as well as nighttime. Nighttime just hits differently with the 8,000 lumens of light pumping out on this wall, making everything pop. At daytime, it's easy to get distracted with everything in your surroundings. At nighttime, you just have a focused area to observe, so I find you're much more in tune with your surroundings. Or maybe you're not more in tune with your surroundings, you're more in tune with what's directly in front of you. Let me reverse that statement. I've seen some abalone too. They must be nocturnal as well. That one there is in the process of eating some kelp. I was keeping things relatively shallow on this dive. I don't think I pushed it past 12 meters at most. Again, being out here by myself at nighttime, I don't regret it, but it would have been nice to have a partner with me. I would have pushed it a bit further. Now, here's what I mean. You see this spring salmon, little juvenile spring. This guy's dead as a doornail. Somebody likely caught it with a barbed hook and absolutely mangled it while trying to throw it back into the ocean. I find it funny how we're not allowed to spearfish salmon. I'm not saying there should be a one-size-fits-all package, but part of the justification is we can't identify our catch, and if we shoot something that's not retainable, it's going to die. But the reality is people angling, not handling their fish properly, they're still killing a lot of fish as a result of that, and they can't identify their fish before it bites a hook. So again, double standards, I'm not a fan of them. Down at the bottom you can see the fish scraps I threw down there. I guarantee you by the next morning everything was devoured, so even if a seal did come in, it would have been just for that evening until those fish scraps were ghost. I called it though. I was out there for a couple hours at least. I think I got home that evening at around 10:30 at night. When I was swimming back to my spot though, I was seeing more squid. This footage is even better than the footage I captured the day prior. The squid, I don't know what it is. They really interest me and they're really tasty. So again, I wish I could find a spot locally. If you have some intel, anywhere from like Ladysmith up to Parksville, if you know of a good pier where I can catch them, let me know. I think fishing for squid, the more the merrier, because you get a feeding frenzy going on. So I don't think it's a spot people usually keep to themselves. This right here though, you can see a massive school of herring that I found. They were all darting into me. It was pretty funny, so maybe I'll just leave you with this footage. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a like, comment. If you don't like it, let me know why. Don't be a coward and hide behind a dislike button. You know, at least explain yourself. I'll try to improve on my videos. But yeah, peace and love, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you again.